happy day in the capital. There haven't been too many of those over the years, and talk among some optimistic souls about Chris Hughton maybe getting the manager's job full time. Don't know how you feel about that.
Well, he deserves plaudits. That's for certain. I don't know if he would be the answer on a full-time basis, because we said it after Reading, one swallow doesn't,
Yeah, absolutely.
What's the saying again?
Doesn't make a summer.
Doesn't make a summer, right? That's it. Right. So basically, there is that sort of element of it, and when you bunch all them games together, I suppose you class that as one swallow, if you get where I'm sort of coming from. And if it goes on, then fine. And if he gets manager of the month, then he deserves it. But when you think of how far Newcastle have dropped, how high they were up there, we're only talking about 6 years ago when they were sort of in the Champions League of all places, and I think that's still, when you wipe away all the controversy and all that's still probably in the minds of the supporters, I think. And I'm sorry, but I know we've got to sort of get back up and get into the Premier League, but I don't think Chris Hughton will be the man to take us to the San Siro.
No. I think steady the ship.
Yeah.
Of that, there's no doubt. And he needed that, and he's certainly created a spirit within the squad. It's clear for everyone to see over the last 3 or 4 games. But in terms of sort of steering that ship further forward, and restoring Newcastle to calmer waters, as it were, I just can't see him being the man. I know people up here accuse us of having this sort of messiah complex, always looking for the new messiah. But I think a club like Newcastle does need a strong, assertive figurehead. Not necessarily a Geordie. I don't particularly buy the idea that it has to be a Geordie, but I do think you need a big, strong character, someone who's going to assert themselves and cope with the sort of goldfish bowl up here, as it were. And I think that certainly what Hughton's done in my eyes is steady the ship, as I've said, and he basically nailed down, if he wants it, a job at Newcastle United for the foreseeable future, if only on the coaching side. Yeah,
I mean, as you say, you do need a figurehead in there, though, and that's probably the most important thing to the Newcastle United fans. And unfortunately, we do always seem to get a lot of stick about, I think jokingly actually said it, didn't he, delusions of grandeur.
Yeah.
And I think that's a big issue. And as far as Chris Hughton's concerned, though, I just don't see him, even if he got Newcastle United and we were still up there going into Christmas, I don't see him as the future at all for Newcastle United. They don't seem to be prepared to give him any power in the transfer market, backed up by today's extension of 7 days. That now means that, he certainly doesn't look like he's going to be signing too many players. And
be a miracle worker if he manages it in the space of 24 hours, if things are resolved in his favour, in Barry Moat's favour. We're talking about here by next Monday. Obviously, that whole situation still contrasts so completely with what's happening on the pitch. Completely smooth running on the pitch at the moment. Everyone seems to be, pulling together. There's a unity on the field. There's a real sense of purpose off the field. Yet again today we're fobbed off with another 7-day pause. Still talk about other consortiums being interested in the club. My worry is if Barry Moat can't come up with the money now or make the financial guarantees that he needs to make now, where's the money going to come from for new signings? Is it going to come from more player sales? And if so, which players are going to go? These are all the imponderables that we've got to encounter this coming week. And I'm still very, very concerned at the situation off the field. Yeah,
I mean it's a total mess. It's been a mess all summer. There's been a lack of information sort of coming through, and actually from where I'm sort of sitting, obviously the owner and the whole of the current regime just seem to be far too laid back and chilled out about it. I don't know if they're getting carried away with maybe the start Newcastle United have had. I certainly think if we're bottom of the table now, they might be up the road. But as it happens, I mean, it's gave them a bit of a lifeline. Whether the team can continue doing that, remains to be seen. But one thing you always want is you always want to see the team winning and doing well. That sounds really obvious, you know what I mean? But you never go to a match thinking, I hope we get beat today so it gets rid of these people.
No.
Your gut instinct is always to want to see Newcastle United do well, and so far they're doing that. But the future is very murky, to say the least. One thing I will be happy about, if Barry Moat did come in, then Alan Shearer would be back. Of that, I'm convinced. And if he does come back, then you know, the fans get what they want,
yeah,
and the team starts playing in that sort of spirit. But I still get the feeling we're some distance away of those days to return.
Nothing's ever certain in the world of Newcastle United.
That's it.